The content provided in this video and on our website is for informational and educational purposes only. It is not intended as, and translates to, legal advice, professional instruction, OR management direction. CamWise is not acting as your legal counsel, OR assuming liability for actions taken based on this content. For specific legal interpretations of your association's CC&Rs and state laws, always consult a qualified attorney.
All right, let's jump right into this explainer and get you equipped with a real step-by-step battle plan. You know, if you live down here in Florida, you're probably familiar with the gorgeous beaches, the theme parks, and, well, unfortunately, the legendary HOA warfare. We've all seen it, right? Overreaching boards, zero financial transparency, and those crazy surprise fines for the most hyper-specific rules. But listen, things have changed. Florida recently passed some absolutely sweeping legislation, primarily under HB 1203, that finally holds these overstepping boards accountable. So today, I am stepping in as your personal homeowner advocate. We are going to take this brand new legal playbook, and I'll show you exactly how to strategically assert your rights.
Here's our mission briefing for today. We're going to cover the new legal arsenal, piercing the transparency veil, crushing unfair HOA fines, using the fining committee shield, navigating mediation and legal traps, and finally, the nuclear option, board recall. So, let's kick things off with Section 1, the new legal arsenal. It's time to trade emotion for cold, hard strategy.
Look, we all know the losing strategy, right? It's arguing on the phone with the property manager or posting those angry emotional rants on neighborhood Facebook groups. You've got to stop doing that. The real winning strategy, and honestly the most effective, low-cost legal move for any homeowner, is leveraging the exact letter of these strict new HB 1203 laws. You literally force compliance by creating a formal, certified statutory paper trail. No more yelling, you just leave a paper trail that the board simply cannot ignore without facing some serious penalties themselves.
Moving right along to Section 2, piercing the transparency veil. This is all about information warfare and auditing the HOA. Okay, your very first weapon here is what I call the website ultimatum. You need to verify if your HOA's portal actually meets the new legal access requirements. Under the law, if your HOA has 100 or more parcels, or if you're in a condo with 25 or more units, they are absolutely required to maintain a secure, password-protected portal. And it can't just be a placeholder site either. It must provide direct downloads for meeting minutes, budgets, financial reports, vendor contracts, and insurance policies. If your large community doesn't have these exact documents posted, boom, your board is operating illegally.
Now, what if that portal is completely bare? Or maybe you just really need to inspect the actual receipts. Well, you take this exact professional script you see here, and you draft it into a formal letter. You send the statutory demand via certified mail with a return receipt requested. Doing this springs a massive legal trap. Under Florida law, they now have exactly 10 business days to grant you access. And get this, if they willfully deny you access just to cause harm, board members can actually face a second-degree misdemeanor. If they deface the records, it bumps up to a first-degree misdemeanor. So yeah, they have to comply.
And while you're in there inspecting those financial records, you have to look out for the ultimate warning sign of financial mismanagement. I'm talking about association-issued debit cards. Florida law explicitly bans HOA board members from using them for any association expenses. Zero exceptions. If a board member is caught swiping an HOA debit card, it is strictly prosecuted as commercial theft, period.
All right, let's dive into Section 3, crushing unfair HOA fines. It is time to activate your defensive shields.
Your absolute biggest shield in this fight is called the cure loophole. The specific criteria for this is incredibly simple, but man is it powerful. It's a statutory provision where if you fix or cure a violation before the scheduled fining committee hearing actually takes place, no fine can legally be imposed. Think about that. If they cite you for a single weed in your lawn and you just pull it before that hearing date, that fine literally evaporates into thin air.
Before you even worry about curing a violation, you need to check this illegal fine hit list. Florida HOAs are now strictly prohibited from fining you for certain protected items. For example, you can't be fined for standard pickup trucks or work vehicles with visible business decals parked in your own driveway, unless it's some massive commercial rig, of course. They also can't touch you for trash cans left at the curb less than 24 hours before or after collection. Oh, and holiday decorations? Totally protected, unless you've left them up a full week after receiving a formal written notice to take them down.
But let's say they try to issue a questionable fine anyway. Well, you hit them with another certified script formally demanding a detailed accounting of all amounts owed. Why is the number 15 so important here? Because if the association fails to provide this detailed accounting within 15 business days, any outstanding fine you have that is past due is automatically waived, just like that.
So, let's map out this chronological checklist for fighting fines. Day 1, a violation notice is issued and they legally have to give you a minimum of 14 days written notice. Then you have that glorious cure loophole window before the hearing to fix the issue and kill the fine. Next is the hearing day, followed by the fine payment due date, which is 30 days post-decision. But here is the critical part. Overzealous boards love to tack on instant, massive legal fees to scare you. You must check if the board is improperly charging you. Florida law explicitly freezes this. They are banned from charging you scare tactic attorney fees until day 31, meaning the actual 30-day fine payment window has totally passed.
Let's move on to Section 4, the Fining Committee Shield, facing your peers.
If you couldn't use the cure loophole, you have to step into that hearing fully prepared. First, gather photographic evidence of your property and the surrounding neighborhood. Check for selective enforcement. Then, you walk in and present a calm, logical, evidence-based argument to the committee. And here's the best part. The board doesn't actually have the final say here. This committee is made up of your non-board peers. If you can secure a no vote from your neighbors on that committee, it legally kills the fine. The board can't override it.
Now, a huge piece of your logical argument is going to be selective enforcement. This is a very powerful legal defense. This is how you photograph evidence of inconsistent rule application. Let's say they find you for a weed in your driveway. What you do is grab your camera, walk the neighborhood, and photograph the exact same weed on the HOA president's lawn. If they penalize you while knowingly ignoring the exact same violation committed by others, especially board members, they are guilty of selective enforcement. Dropping that evidence on the table completely ruins their legal standing. Which brings us to Section 5, mediation and legal traps. We are moving to offensive strikes. Listen closely here. You cannot just jump straight into a courtroom and sue your HOA over a parking dispute or a covenant rule. Florida requires you to enter mandatory pre-suit mediation. It's a required alternative dispute resolution process where you must formally demand a mediator to resolve the conflict first. This is an absolutely crucial step to help you avoid massive attorney fees by trying to work it out before filing a full-blown lawsuit.
Or what if your offensive strike involves reporting board member noncompliance or suspected election fraud? Well, the moment that election happens, a strict 60-day ticking clock starts. You have exactly 60 days from the election date to file a petition for mandatory arbitration with the state's regulatory office, the DBPR. If you miss that exact window, you completely lose your chance to challenge it.
Now, I have to give you a massive warning about something called the prevailing party rule. You can never, ever just bluff with legal threats in Florida HOA disputes. Why? Because the winner, the prevailing party, is legally entitled to have the losing party pay all of their attorney fees. So yes, if you win, the HOA pays for your lawyer. But if you lose mediation or a lawsuit without concrete evidence, you could literally be stuck paying the HOA's high-priced legal team out of your own pocket. Don't bluff. All right, finally, we arrive at Section 6, the nuclear option, board recall. Time to fire the dictators. If you're dealing with a truly toxic board that just breaks every rule and ignores the law, stop fighting them one petty rule at a time. Go for the recall. The legal requirements for initiating a formal board recall are very clear. First, you focus on neighborhood consensus. You need to gather a majority of the entire voting interest in your community. Then you get that majority to sign a formal, statutory written recall agreement. Once you have those signatures, you can legally remove those toxic board members and elect new neighbors who actually remember they are community members, not rulers.
So here's the big question. You now have the exact statutory scripts, you know the crucial 10 and 15-day timelines, and you understand the loopholes straight from Florida's newest laws. The law is finally on the side of the homeowner, but only if you actually use it. Will you let your association continue business as usual and remain a frustrated victim of surprise fines? Or will you use this legal playbook to become an empowered tactical advocate and take your neighborhood back?